Hey, you too. So I wanted to share my experience with the school climate conference that not only I participated in, but I was also a presenter for. So how I found out about the conference, so I knew I wanted to do some speaking engagements leading up to the summer. So I literally just Googled like mental health conferences, education conferences, and this was one of the ones that popped up. They had, proposals open for it. And so I looked at what were the main things they were looking for as far as the presentation. Some of the presentations um, or training that I was already going to be doing is in my work as a consultant. So I went ahead and applied. I maybe heard back a couple of weeks later saying that they would love to have my session. So I knew that, like, I knew about 2 months ago that I was going to be doing this. And so it was kind of on my list of things of like, okay, yeah, this is going to happen. But, until something happens like this, you're just like, okay, waiting around for it to happen. But man, it surpassed my expectations. So actually, the presentation that I was going to be doing or presenting on, the title was Cutting Discipline in Half Using a Multi-Tiered um, Approach. And it basically talked about how my experience as a former school counselor, we needed a lot of things to happen at our school for our discipline to change. We had a monumental amount of out of school suspensions as well as in school suspensions. And we tried a lot of different things, that did not work until we found out what actually did work. And I talk about what were some of those um, things that we did, and specifically what were the strategies that we used that ended up cutting our discipline by 53% in one school year, which was major. Obviously, that's something that's working. So, of course, again, I wanted to share that with more people. So, that's what my session was. Leading up to the actual conference date, I want to say maybe 3 weeks beforehand, the facilitator, John Vandenberg, he's so great. I met him my first day. But we had been communicating through email, and he let me know that there was an opportunity for me to do my session twice. So, I was like, yeah, of course. So basically, he told me that there was going to be over 500 attendees altogether before my session, to expect 40 to 80 participants, based off of the spacing of the rooms and things of that nature. So, like I said, I flew from Kansas City into San Diego. The actual conference was at Pechanga Resort in Temecula, California. So that actually was 50 miles away from San Diego. So to make things easy for myself, I Ubered because I knew that once I was getting there, I wasn't really going to go much of anywhere because I was focused on the sessions as well as presenting. I know for other people that were probably looking to do other things, that, having a rental car would have been more beneficial for them. And that's what a lot of people did. But yeah, so like I said, flew into San Diego, took an Uber from San Diego to Temecula into the Pechanga Resort. And like I said, this is a resort. So I pulled up, and first of all, my Uber driver dropped me off on the casino side of the hotel by accident. So I had to walk with my suitcases all the way through the casino, which was fine. It was just, I was like, whoa, this is a lot going on here. So, as you can see down here, this is me walking through the casino. Um, Lots of slots, and then they even had a food court in that area as well. But on the other side is the actual hotel, and then of course the conference rooms and things like that. So my first night, I actually flew in on Tuesday. The conference was supposed to start on a Wednesday, so I flew in on Tuesday because I wanted to make sure that I was able to run through my presentation, check through my sound. Like, I'm that type of person. I get anxious when I'm doing something for the first time. So I'm like, okay, let me check and make sure everything looks right, and this, that, and the third. So this is one of the rooms that I'll be presenting in tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but Thursday. It sits up to 80 people. So I'm getting my stuff together. Going to pull my presentation, make sure that everything looks and sounds right, because I'm that type of anxious person. me getting to my room. The only rooms that they had left available when I finally tried to book my room were like double beds. So I was like, man, I need a roommate. But no, it was such a nice room. Everything was well laid out. Everything looked clean. They sanitize your room before you go in. A nice bathroom with great lighting, just everything. No complaints there. Like I said, since that first day I flew in, the conference hadn't really started yet. I did get to explore some more of the resort. So like I walked out to, they had a pool there. They had like 3 pools. Like there was a pool on the 4th floor of the hotel, but then there was one outside. And then they also had the casino, like I mentioned earlier. They had a patio that actually my window looked out to the patio, so I could kind of see what was going on. Further out onto the resort, they had a golf course, so in a spa. So pretty much anything you could think of. Matter of fact, they even had a movie theater that was close to the casino. So I kind of got to walk around and explore. They had restaurants inside of the resort, different ones like high end, expensive ones, but then they had more lower price ones like, your local Chili's or Applebee's or something like that. But the food was so good. It was really good, honestly. All right, so this is the Pechanga Resort. It is out in California. Basically, this is wine country, but again, everything's on a resort. So here they have like a movie theater inside. It's full of like a grand casino. There's several pools here, inside and outside. I'm trying to think. They have restaurants downstairs. They have stores, like high-end stores. So I mean, this is like the perfect work-play combo. So I got here a day early, so I was able to kind of walk around and see things. I present actually on Thursday, which is the second day of the conference, and then the last day I get to go to sessions as well. So this has been probably one of my best. I've had another great one, but this is probably one of my best conference experiences. They haven't fed us quite yet, so I mean the verdict's still out on that. You'll probably see that a little bit later in this video, but yeah. So like I said, anything you want, so I can see why people could just take off for a week or something like that and just go down there and just enjoy themselves. But okay, so the next day, that next morning, we got up early. I want to say the first session was at either 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So I believe I didn't have a session that first time. I was actually able to participate into somebody else's session, and I actually chose to attend a lot of sessions that were geared towards like MTSS, just to see, because of course I was talking about MTSS. I knew what my presentation was about, but I wanted to see if people were talking about similar things when they were talking about MTSS, and I found that to be true, which was really validating. So that next session was mine. Like I said, I had a morning session and an afternoon session. Altogether, there were about 4 sessions and then a keynote in the afternoon. Like I said, all of them were great. I've learned new stuff. I took it back with me. Like even as a consultant, I had to change my mindset to be like, okay, well, I'm not a school counselor anymore. The sessions that I would typically go to is going to shift a little bit because my role is different a little bit. So my first session, I think it went really well. I actually had a packed room. So I think I was in one of the rooms that had about 40 seats. Now I will say that I did speed through it. I didn't notice that until afterwards, of course. When I'm nervous, I talk really fast. But yeah, I think I ended like 30 minutes early. I had an hour and 15 minutes. But I did get through all the information that I had wanted to, but I wish I would have taken more time to talk to the audience and do kind of our little exercise where I had them kind of role play through like a social emotional meeting. So that's what I would have changed about that first one. So I kind of knew that going into for my second one for the afternoon. So my second one, I had less people. This second session was after lunch. Even I was tired. I had to go to the room after lunch. to like kind of reset myself. So I want to say maybe it was like 30, 35, 40 people in that next session. But like I said, this was also a bigger room, so it could have sat more people. But I took more time doing the activity. This time I had only ended about 15 minutes early, and I had people coming up to me afterwards and just saying that they enjoyed the presentation, which made me feel good. So if you're watching and you did that, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, like I said, when you present for your staff, and that's what I'm so used to doing, it's a little bit different because there's an expectation that you're going to present every month versus like when you're presenting in front of strangers, like you don't know how it's going to be received, or you don't know like what their background is, what they know, this, that, and the third. But it went really well, and I got a lot of contacts and was able to network with a lot of people afterwards. So yeah, so that afternoon we had a keynote speaker, John Brousseau. I want to say I'm saying it right, but this was his first time doing a keynote, and I think he did a phenomenal job. We even got to leave with a book that he had written, so that was great. Later that night, you get the night free. So I actually had ran into somebody that I had met for the first time at a session earlier, and we just kind of connected on a couple of different things. So I kind of hung out with her group because they were like, look, we're going to cross all these things off of our list. They had told me they had went to a hot air balloon ride. She's like, yeah, you should do that. And I was like, I don't know. Me and heights. But so I went with her and some of her staff members, and we went to In-N-Out Burger because we had never tried it. I know, such a touristy thing to do, but we did go to In-N-Out Burger, and then I had came back early to make sure that I could run through my presentation. So that next night we actually went to me and the group that I was hanging out with, we went to one of the wineries. If you don't know, Temecula is famous for being wine country. So they had a whole bunch of vineyards that were really close to each other. We ended up choosing one, and you'll kind of see the video of me there. All right, I'm here at Mount Palomar's winery, and I'm actually here with our wine server, Brittany.
Hi, you guys.
And as you can see here on our menu, we have a wide variety of like sparkling, white, and red, and sweet wines. So I believe the cost is around $20 to taste 6 different wines. And so I got to choose from which wines I wanted to taste. And so they're actually pretty tasty, and they have even chocolate to go with it. So if you're ever out here in the Temecula area, definitely come out here and taste the wines. Like I said, it's a pretty chill environment. The vineyards are very pretty. So make sure you come out and do that. Again, this is Mount Palomar. There's so many vineyards that are really close to each other. So like I said, you need to look and see which ones are going to be open the days that you're here. But so far, it's a great experience. And this is like at the end of the wine tasting. You'll see. Anyway, so also after we did the wine tasting, we went down to Old Temecula and we had dinner down there at one of the restaurants. They also had kind of like a live band going on. It was freezing by this point. Usually it's very warm in Temecula, but it had rained. It was down in the 60s. So I was freezing. And I was tired. But I braved it out. But yeah, they wanted to listen to the live band and do some dancing and this, that, and the third. So that was that first official day. And then the last day, as far as just being able to we had one keynote session from John, and he had invited some students there. I even quoted one of them on my Instagram page of something they said, and I was just like, oh. But later that day, I got to go to the pool, and by that time, I was tired. You know, typically if I go out of town, 3 days is enough for me, and I'm ready to go home. So, although I really enjoyed myself, like I said, the experience of just the resort itself was phenomenal. Travel was pretty easy. Um, and being able to present this information, feeling like an expert in these things that I've been doing for quite a long time, and being able to share that with other people and connecting with people even past the conference. Like, I do it again in a heartbeat. Uh, so yeah, so if you are interested in things around school climate, like I said, I highly suggest you attend next year, um, because John puts on a great conference, and he's so, one, well thought out, but then two, so accommodating. Like, we got drink cards, so that we could have like a mixer after the sessions and things like that. And like I said, make sure that we have rooms, like a room discount for us that were attending, so that you didn't really have to go anywhere. And like I said, if you chose to not really go anywhere, because maybe that's how you like to travel, you like to stay into the hotel that you're at. Like I said, the resort was so inclusive that you didn't really need to go anywhere. But for those that did want to go somewhere, Temecula was a great city to have these different experiences. Like I said, the hot air balloon rides, the wineries, the just all of that. So again, it was a great conference, and I'll see you guys for the next video.